Hola. What's up, everybody? Good evening, good afternoon. And I wanted to jump on to go over some of the updates, I guess, with this case that we covered. I actually covered this on the second channel. I don't think I covered it here. Oh, I gotta fix this. Sorry. They caught these inmates, four escaped inmates. Joey, Marc, Jonathan, Chavis. Joey was wanted for murder. Marc was aggravated assault. Jonathan was, I don't know what it was. I thought it was drug stuff. Chavis was helped for possession of firearm and drug trafficking. So they got all four of them. They had a press conference. I think this was actually yesterday or last night. I missed it. So I figured, reason to come on, chat with you guys for a little bit. Let's see. It took them a while too. They've been on the run for October 16th, probably over a month, I guess. What's up? What's up? Georgia is part of the yard. Let's check this out. I think they show how they captured, how they escaped, show videos and stuff like that. And on the live that we covered this on the second channel, we went all over the history of issues jail has had, which is a lot. Bibb County.
All right. All right. Thank y'all for being here. This is sort of a culmination or a summary of the last 4 weeks and a couple of days for the four escapees from the Bibb County Jail. As everybody knows, back on October the 16th, we think around 3 o'clock, the four inmates escaped from the Bibb County Jail, and you got the video?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Load up video.
Just got everything started here.
So you can see here in the top right hand corner, and there's also, I think, co-conspirators. I haven't watched this. I just skimmed through the still images for a thumbnail. But there's like other people that were co-conspirators, which I guess is not that surprising. But you can see here in the corner. Rewind it back.
Just got everything started here. These are the four inmates as they were escaping.
Good. Oh, there's a hole in the gate. Yeah. Amazing. Courthouse Cat, thank you so much for the membership. Says hi, Mel. Hope you're matter. We're good. Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, guys. It's Thursday. Thursday will be Thanksgiving. 2 days from now. Tomorrow, my mama's birthday too, and then Thursday, Thanksgiving. Oh, here's the other one. You would have thought like these escapes would be a thing of the past, like the technological advances that we've made over time, but no, they just gone effortlessly too. Well, I'm sure they made
All right.
it, but
And these who those inmates were: Chavis Stokes, Marc Anderson, Jonathan Barnwell, and Joey Fournier. As soon as we were made aware of the escape, certainly everything went into play, and that's when this team that's assembled here all came into action with those and others that came to work and participated in the manhunts and in the captures of these individuals. The biggest break came when we confiscated or was able to find on the 20th of October when we found the blue Dodge Challenger. And yes, this was the right car that we found. You'll remember there was some talk that we got the wrong car, but we got the right car. That sort of gave us a good break in the case. When we found that vehicle, it was able to lead us to other vehicles, but the one thing that finding that vehicle did led us to Jacqueline Williams. You see his picture there. He's arrested and charged in connection with the escape. We believe that Jacqueline had brought some contraband items to the jail prior to the escape in that Dodge Challenger. Jacqueline Williams's arrest led us to Christian Williams.
He did. What happened to him?
Who a few days later, U.S. Marshals Service personnel as well as Bibb County deputies went to an apartment over off of Vineville and were met with gunfire from Mr. Williams, Christian Williams, and then we believe that he subsequently took his own life. Christian Williams led us to Micaiah Williams. We don't believe any of these folks are all connected, all kin to each other, but they have the same last name of Williams. That led us to Micaiah Williams, who then led us to Janisha Green and Jacorcia Smith. It was determined that Miss Green and Miss Smith were basically swapping cars while they were going to visit Mr. Barnwell over near Augusta. They both were taken into custody and charged in connection with hindering apprehension of Mr. Barnwell. In addition, we made it our business to get involved into the mafia business and did some warrant sweeps, and as a connection to those, these individuals here were all arrested and charged with drugs or either gang activity, and some of these individuals were also charged federally. Two of the more prominent folks that are listed up here are Tarico Balcom and Alfonso Clyde. These are very, particularly Alfonso Clyde. He's a very high-ranking member of the mafia organization here in Macon, and is well known to law enforcement. And now he's facing federal charges in connection to his involvement with Mr. Barnwell and then the escape. While working on this end, investigators and U.S. Marshals were able to make contact with people connected with Mr. Stokes and were able to make arrest of him down in Montezuma. And that's when he was taken into custody. Chavis Stokes was taken into custody in Montezuma. In addition, an investigation has revealed, continued investigation revealed, a connection with Tamisha Timley with Marc Anderson. And as we investigated these folks that had escaped, it was determined that once they got away from the LEC and got away, they pretty much all went their separate ways. They were sort of connected to each other while plotting the escape, but then once they got out, they all went their separate ways. It was determined that Tamisha Timley was connected with Marc Anderson, and through investigative techniques, through our work with our intelligence analysts and...
No, would they order food? Grubhub order text message. No contact order. Police at the door, baby. I'm going back to jail. Text message from Marc to Anderson. Marc Anderson to Tamisha Timely.
Search warrants on cell phones and that sort of technological investigation. We were able to link her with Marc Anderson and found out that he was staying in a place in Atlanta. And we kept looking, and the intel unit and the investigators kept looking, and the way that they were able to get him was they were having food delivered. Tamisha Timley was having food delivered to Mark up there in his high-rise place that he was staying at in Atlanta. So once they had a Grubhub order, and if you notice the Grubhub folks take a picture of where they deliver it, they delivered it to the front door. So they had an apartment number. So the next step was, there he was. And when they were going in the front door, Marc Anderson texts back to Ms. Timley, "Police at the door, baby. I'm going back to jail." So he knew that it was over with. Now, Joey Fournier sort of went off the grid for a little bit, but we had been in contact with his family and working with his family to where finally he decided to give it up. And Saturday morning he gave it up, and U.S. Marshal Service and folks went up there and made that arrest on Saturday morning. He had been living in a homeless camp up near Stockbridge pretty much the whole time since he had escaped.
So he really blended in. He was one of the smarter ones. He's the only white guy of the 4 people that escaped, the 4 total. And so he just went to a homeless camp. He just blended in his natural environment. So he was able to, I guess he decided to hand himself in. What, my volume sounds kind of low. I think I'll fix that. Testing. Hey. Testing. Wait. I don't know if that's better or worse. Testing. I don't know. I have to figure it out after.
Some investigators had been up there Friday and found where he had been staying and got some of his belongings in, so he probably figured it wasn't long before we get him, so he just decided to turn himself in at that point. There's a whole lot of agencies, and that's what I want to talk about here. This is truly a teamwork operation. You'll see these agencies listed here: FBI, State Patrol, Clayton County Sheriff's Office, Richmond County Sheriff's Office. There's a number of agencies that worked to help to capture these 4 escapees. And it was truly a teamwork. There was no ego. Everybody worked together. Everybody followed the leads. Everybody followed the tips. And we had a successful operation, and these individuals were taken into custody. So all of these folks here, the gang unit, our SRT team, our criminal intelligence team, it all works together, and it shows that we have the resources, we have the dedication, we have the people, that when we are faced with a situation like this, I hope we don't have to use them all for a escapee again. But some of the other crime issues that we have, we put these same tools to the project, to the problem, so that we can solve it. So I'm very appreciative and very proud to be up here with these individuals. They're the ones that did all the work. These individuals right here on the gang unit, on the SRT, with the FBI, and our partners from GBI and all of these other agencies did not hesitate 1 second to come forward and help us in this case. So our appreciation goes out to all of them. In addition to these folks arrested, there were some other vehicles that were seized. Connection, this black Honda Accord was a vehicle that was connected to Janisha Green, who had gone back and forth to Augusta and up that way to see Jonathan Barnwell. The Toyota Highlander, that's another vehicle. That was a Jacorsha Smith. They were swapping out these two vehicles to go to Augusta, so as not to be seen, but they were seen. The other vehicle was a vehicle that belonged to Joey Fournier's brother, Jeffrey, that we took that for some examination to see what involvement that vehicle may have had in his escape, or what involvement it may have had after he escaped. So all of that continues to be under investigation right now. So, but that is where we are, and I can't say enough again about how appreciative I am of these individuals, and our citizens should be very proud of the work that all of these deputies and all of these agencies put in to capture these 4 escapees, and now they're all back in custody.
Good work.
All right. Anybody got any questions?
Why did it take y'all so long?
How useful were tips from the public in capturing these individuals?
I'm sorry.
How useful were tips from the public in capturing these individuals?
We got a few tips about maybe the blue Challenger. We got a lot of calls about that vehicle. We got a lot of tips from people saying that they thought that somebody may be involved. They thought that they may have seen them. Some of those tips turned out to be something we could use, particularly the ones with when we were looking for the blue Dodge Challenger. Some others were, didn't pan out, but we appreciate the tips that we did get. Most of this was done through just, as they say, good old-fashioned police work, just following leads, following people who were connected. You saw these individuals that were arrested. These individuals here that were arrested that were somehow connected to one or more of the escapees. So those that played a role in it. So there's a lot of different things. Our being able to access phone information, tracking cameras, flock cameras came in handy on these vehicles that we were able to get. They showed up on some flock cameras up towards Augusta. So it was just a whole lot of other things that was that we looked at. And there they all are. When it's all said and done, that's what it's all about, getting them all back into custody.
Sheriff, are they housed in the same place now, or how they are housed in the jail?
3 of them are in the Bibb County Jail. Barnwell is not, because he had charges up in Augusta, some more federal charges up there. So he's being held elsewhere. The U.S. Marshals have him in custody, so he may come back to Bibb County. He was a federal inmate before, and he was awaiting transfer when the escape came. So he may or may not be back here because he's facing federal charges in another jurisdiction. So.
My question is, are they housed in a special place here?
Oh,
or you can tell me, or you can.
They're in a special place in the Bibb County Jail. Yeah.
What's the special place?
Wait, what's the special place? Solitary confinement or some type of box? I mean, they get socked in a box.
A cell they can't get out of.
Oh, shoot. What's that mean? The ominous look. With a little, like, smirk on his face. I feel like my volume is coming a little bit lower. What cell is he talking about?
Any new procedures y'all are doing at the jail?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things. There's new leadership in the jail. There's some new policies back there. So there's a whole lot of things going on as far as the facility goes, as far as staffing, all of those things. We're continuing our internal affairs investigation into exactly all of the factors that went into the escape. We will have that investigation completed soon. But as I said, when this all started, the most important thing that we needed to do was to get these 4 inmates back into custody. That has been done, so now we can move on to the next thing.
So what about immediate changes in terms of how rounds are done in the middle of the night, especially between 12 and 6 a.m.?
That a lot of that's been looked into and is being changed. I ain't going to go into specifics about when block checks happen and that sort of thing, but there is a renewed emphasis on security and making sure our staff is doing what they're supposed to be doing
Hey, Mr.
at
Mevin.
all times.
Hola.
And from the video, can you explain the order of who left first and who was the last to go?
We're looking at it. We think that the order was Barnwell and Anderson, Barnwell and Stokes, and then maybe Anderson and Fournier. Fournier was the last one. We're pretty sure the last one they go out.
And speaking of Fournier, one of the trucks was registered to a Jeffrey Fournier. How were you able to know like that was his truck? And did Joey take that truck to go up there, or did he get a ride from Jeffrey?
That's all we're trying to figure out, exactly what connection that truck had into it during the time. It may pan out that it may have not been as connected or what have you, but at the time that we were doing the search for these inmates, every investigative lead was followed. Whether it panned out or anything or not is, that will remain to be seen. But we left no stone unturned as far as following evidence and checking whatever evidence that we could find during the search.
And speaking of the tips that you mentioned, how were you all able to vet them and then determine next course of action and how long to apprehend the next inmate?
Well, a lot of it, you had tips about, as I said, the car. We had some tips about where these inmates might have possibly been, but a lot of it was just investigative work. Once you capture one person, that person leads you to another person, which leads you to another person. The intel analyst work on seized cell phone devices and that sort of thing sort of painted a trail of crumbs that led us to each person.
So now that, aside from what they were already in jail for, how long will they be in jail now with this escape charge?
Well, all of the individuals except for Barnwell are pre-trial detainees. They're waiting to stand trial for their various charges, and so that'll be determined by the prosecutors. Now, I know some of them are being charged again federally for the escape. I know Barnwell, he faces federal charges for the escape because he was already a federal inmate. The others will be primarily state charges because they were already being held for state offenses, and so that'll just add time to their eventual sentence.
Actually, you said you get involved in the mafia business. Did you know that the mafia was here already, or explain that?
We had known, obviously, that there were gangs and that the mafia gang was in existence here. And there were individuals that we had been looking at, individuals that we knew were involved in the gang, but we were trying to build cases on them. This just made it easier because they had connections with Barnwell, and that they were in some ways helping him, some ways connected to him. His being out helped to further the mafia, their business. So that's why when I say we got into the mafia's business, we did, and that's why some of these individuals are arrested now, and they will be going away for a long time, we hope.
And just building off of that, what risk did these individuals pose to the public before they were apprehended?
Well, you never know what risk a person who has escaped and is cornered, particularly if they were cornered by, just a regular citizen. You don't ever know. But we're just so thankful that each and every one of them was captured without incident, that they did no harm to anyone while they were out, And so that's just a blessing. We're very glad that it ended up how it has.
Did any of the women give up where any of the inmates were?
No,
Nobody snitched.
not until it was too late, right?
Yes, sir.
Not until it was too late.
Is there any jail staff that was disciplined?
That's part of the investigation. That's part of the ongoing internal investigation as to why this all happened. That's been running along parallel with all of this. But right now, all of our efforts have been to recapture these inmates. Now that they're back, we can move into that phase of it and see what needs to be done there on anybody that was derelict in their duties or had anything to do with this. They will be held accountable.
Now, what about the reward money? Was there a clear enough tip to determine which one would get that reward money? And if there wasn't one, what happens to the money now?
Well, we're looking at that. We're still not, the door has not been completely closed on whether somebody may be eligible for the reward, but as of yet, there's not been a clear tip that has come through that would warrant us giving the reward money to anyone. And if it,
Money for anybody.
if nothing comes,
All right, we get the drift. So these guys are caught, which is great, amazing work. By the way, I don't know if I'm sure most people have heard, but if you haven't, they're going to do cameras for the Brian Kohlberger case. But the judge doesn't want the media to have control of the cameras, I guess. So they're going to do like a camera court feed. So it'll be a court-operated camera, which will live stream the trial from the judge's YouTube page. Try to get that clout. I'm just kidding. So, yeah, I guess we will be able to watch the stuff. Must be interesting. There's that. There was something else I was thinking of. I can't think right now. I don't know. There was something else in my mind, but I can't think of it now. But yeah, that's pretty big news. So I don't know when that trial is happening though, but whenever it does, I guess we'll be able to watch it. Yeah, kind of like the Tisha Stokes, I guess. Yeah, the judge's YouTube page, like and subscribe. Hey, I'll take whatever, right? I'll take whatever we can get. F it. And they could do it from a cell phone if they want to stream from a cell phone. So that's good news for people that want to watch the trial. So of course we'll be doing that. See what else is going on. Somebody was asking about like we were going to do the fun days again, those end of time streams. We can try to do something soon. It's been a while. The end of time streams. There was this other big story too. Well, kind of, I don't know. This officer shot this homeless person. They were fighting on the street. This was in Cali. Yeah, the officer. So this homeless person ended up, I guess, reaching supposedly for this officer's taser. And so the officer like pulled out his gun and shot him multiple times. Some people are saying he went too far. I don't know. Another day, right? Oh, I know, Debbie. I hope that the judge's channel's blown up. I bet. I saw that Argentina got a new president. They're calling him the Argentinian Donald Trump. This caused a bunch of waves. Argentinian Donald Trump. Yes. Judge is trying to get monetized. JD Wells, thank you, man. Yeah, my mother's birthday is tomorrow. I'm actually, after I get off of here, I'm gonna go. There's something I've been wanting to buy her, so I'm gonna go to the store and get it for tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'm gonna be with family. I mean, the day after, Thursday, will be with family. Judge needs to get his own emojis. I don't know what else. I got to see what else is going on. I've had people send me multiple stories. Oh, this was kind of nuts.
Their child's abusing 16 boys.
My friend sent me this one. Flossie. This babysitter, Matthew Antonio Zariski, sentenced to 700 years in prison for assaulting 16 boys in California. Burn in hell. The boys ranged from 2 to 12 years old when Zariski assaulted them. One mother of a boy who was 2 years old when Zariski assaulted him cried while giving her impact statement, saying she will never be able to meet the son she would have had he not been assaulted. This guy filmed many of his assaults on the children. He was ultimately charged with 34 counts, including 27 felony counts of lewd and lascivious acts with a minor under the age of 14, 2 felony counts of oral copulation of a child under the age of 10, and 1 felony count of possession of child pee.
Zagchevsky showed his sentencing of more than 700 years behind bars without probation. Matthew
Was it like he's smirking?
Zagchevsky showed no emotion in Orange County Superior Court Friday. The 34-year-old Costa Mesa man was convicted for sexually abusing 16 boys and showing a 17th child pornography from 2014 to 2019. He filmed his crimes while serving as a male nanny for families across California. The children...
I'm sorry, I'd be pausing with the male nanny. I know that's kind of like, I guess, sexist or whatever, but...
ranged in age from 2 to 12. In court, Zagchevsky looked intently at the parents of the children he abused as they read their impact statements. Mothers broke down in tears, telling Zagchevsky he stole their child's souls, leaving their little ones and families with years of therapy as they work to move on. Their hope for him that, quote, his time in prison is the stuff of nightmares. Zagchevsky addressed the families, never apologizing.
He addressed them?
Instead telling them he wants their sons to break through the clouds and shine bright. The judge addressed Zagchevsky, reminding him of what the videos he recorded show, his repeated abuse of trust, saying, quote, we watched you turn molestation into a game at reading time, bath time, a swim opportunity, and of course, bedtime. As the bailiffs took Zagchevsky away, clapping filled the room from families satisfied with the judge's sentencing. The judge ordered Zagchevsky to have no contact with any of his victims, whether in person,
Wild. As far as the stuff out there with the war or the conflict, however people are dubbing it, I've been watching that a lot. I've been keeping an eye. It's just more deaths, people dying. They're supposedly potentially close to working out a deal where they Hamas free some of the hostages. In turn, I think they get it was 200 Palestinians. I had read one of those Palestinians was had committed or planned the October 7th act. Also in exchange for a pause. I don't know, humanitarian pause. That's like a 5-day pause or something like that. Or a ceasefire. I don't know if that's technically a ceasefire. It's not permanent, but something like that. So I don't know. That's kind of what's going on. Kelly Sandy, thank you so much for the super chat. Says love to all members, lurkers, mailman, and family. Happy holiday. Happy holidays. Zero cool. And thank you for the 20, Sandy. Yeah, man. Some of these people are just sick. But all right, make sure you are subscribed to the second channel. I just want to hop on for a bit to try to get myself into mentality. We got to start doing stuff, doing streams, even though it's the holidays, you know, and you got all these birthdays and Thanksgiving and Christmas. But make sure you sub to the second channel as well. Our second channel. And that's it. All right, guys. I'll catch you later. Love you.